Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space, so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And be sure to tell them the Bro Country podcast sent you in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application. Welcome to the Bro Country podcast. My name is Joey, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host.
Hey man, it's Chris. How's it going today?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Just always excited to talk to you.
Yeah, man, we've got a pretty cool episode tonight, guys. We're actually going to be doing our News Out of Nashville segment. We're going to talk about a few things, and then we're going to actually move on to our CMA Award predictions. So we're going to predict who we think is going to win each major category. So I'm super excited for this one. What do you say, man?
Well, I always predict the CMAs anyways, but they're not on record. So this will be the first year that I'll have something that I actually can go by, because I usually change my mind 5 times before the awards start.
I'm kind of the same way. I'm never good at guessing them though, so
that's funny.
I'll probably bomb it, but
right.
Yeah. So let's kick this one off, man. We'll do our News Out of Nashville segment.
Yeah, man. What's going on in Nashville this week?
So we've got some bad news. We lost 2 legends in the Nashville scene recently. Jerry Jeff Walker, a songwriter, famously known for writing Mr. Bojangles, just recently passed away at age 78 due to cancer. So condolences to his family and friends and everybody that's hurting due to that loss. And then JT Cornfloss, who's a musician that played on many major artists' songs, he passed away as well. So, again, condolences and love and prayers out to all of his friends and family as well.
Yeah, it looked like he had played on a bunch of stuff, but I know you had mentioned that he had played on a couple of Luke Bryan's songs, right?
Yeah. Luke Bryan just made a big post a couple hours ago on Instagram, and he was on, Countryman, What Makes You Country, Drink a Beer, Hunting, Fishing, Loving Every Day. He was on a lot of Luke's bigger hits.
Yeah, so, if you listen to those songs, the guitar solos and the guitar licks really make those songs. And I think Luke kind of mentioned that in his post about, people think about lyrics and the singer, but the music, and especially the guitar in country music, is just so prominent and means so much to these songs.
Oh yeah, it can make it or break it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah. Other than the sad news, we got some good news. We had some major music releases this week. Drew Parker dropped his EP, While You're Gone. Luke Combs dropped his deluxe album, What You See Ain't Always What You Get. We'll be reacting to that here in just a bit and let you guys know our thoughts on that. But Chris, what did the charts look like this week?
Well, let's see. We're sitting here Sunday evening, so the number one country song for the week just came out. They just posted what it's going to be, and it's actually going to be a song that we heard live a couple times last year. Probably it's "Some Girls" by Jameson Rogers, who opened most of last year's tour for Luke, and had a collaboration earlier this year with Luke. So he's really taken off. He's kind of in that group with a lot of those guys, and it's his debut single, and it is first week at number 1. So "Some Girls" for Jameson Rogers. And
that's huge.
The number 1 album this week is Luke's. He retakes it. Yep. And it's 30 weeks. It's been number 1 now. So the debut had 50 weeks, and then the prequel was number 1 for 1 week, and now the newer album has been number 1 for 30 weeks, and that's ahead of the deluxe that came out this week, which we're going to go out on a limb and assume it's number 1 next week. So
yeah,
it's pretty crazy, man.
It's impressive, and as you guys know, we're huge Luke fans. So congrats to Jameson on that number 1, and Luke for taking back over the number 1 spot on the album. So that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So speaking of, like I mentioned, the new releases, Drew Parker's EP dropped. Great. I thought it was awesome, man. You got songs like "While You're Gone," "All the Beers," "Hell Yeah," "Say When I'm In," "Party in the Back," "I Was Lying," "The Runway." He had a little studio chat segment and a song called "House Band." So, what were your thoughts on Drew's EP?
Well, I am just loving While You're Gone. Like I know that's the one that they're pushing right now, and it got pushed to Sirius, and it's the name of the EP. So obviously they were pretty confident in it, and it is. There's just I don't know. The chorus is, it's just it's been on repeat here recently. I really like I Was Lying. Those are probably my two favorites from the EP. What about you, Joey?
Yeah, I love While You're Gone. The Runway, that one is probably my favorite from the EP. I think that is a great song. He's played that live for a while, and the fans have been wanting that one for so long. He's teased it on TikTok and things, and I'm just stoked he finally dropped it. But I would say if I had to pick top three from this EP for Drew, I'm going to go The Runway, While You're Gone, and probably I Was Lying. I do love that song.
Yeah, I mean, you're a ginormous Drew fan, and you've definitely got me on board with it. But I mean, you've been listening to the couple tracks that had not been released yet as live tracks. How do you think All the Beers and The Runway compare to the live versions that you had listened to before?
Oh, I think they're great. I think they're produced very well. The instrumentation is amazing. The delivery is just as good as live, if not better. I mean, All the Beers, that's going to be a fun one to keep hearing live, especially after more of the fans get to know it and Drew's career takes off a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, he's, the way they produce him is very, very traditional. So, I mean, his vocal is just straight vocal. I mean, it doesn't sound like they do anything to his vocals on the track. And then the instrumentation is just straight up early 90s country. I mean,
Absolutely. And that's going to be a huge win for him, I think, going forward. It. Yeah, because that sound's coming back. I mean, you've got guys like Luke Morgan-Wallen, Riley Green, John Party that are going back to that kind of sound. And, I mean, Drew, I don't know how he hasn't blown up yet. I mean, but now that he's got some music out, and I think as long as we get live music next year, if he's able to go out on tour with Luke as planned, I think that's going to be huge for him.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So yeah, Drew Parker's awesome. If you guys haven't heard him yet, go check him out. His EP just dropped a few days ago. It's called While You're Gone, streaming on all major platforms. Go check him out on Facebook too. He's always interacting with fans and going live and playing songs and stuff. So he's awesome. But
and I think actually he and Jameson wrote on the EP. So I know Jameson has a cut on the EP with him. So Jameson has the number one song in country. Drew's got brand new music coming out. Drew, as we're getting ready to get into with Luke's Deluxe, he's involved in that too. So all these guys are just kind of, tied in together here and producing some music that we definitely love. So
it's cool too because I watched something on SiriusXM's Instagram page, I believe. They were someone from Sirius was interviewing Drew, and they were like, I think they asked him something like along the lines of, what is it about you guys that it's like sprinkling magic fairy dust on you guys when you get together to write songs? Like, what is it like? And Drew said something along the lines of like, when I get with Ray and Luke, I just kind of know what they're thinking, and before they even say it, and we just like writing songs that we would like to hear, whether that's a song like One Too Many, where you can turn up and go honky tonkin', or songs that make you want to get sit around and mope and cry about things, or something to that regard anyway. And I'm like, that's so true, because their lyrics, all those guys in that group are just so relatable and just real.
I agree, absolutely.
But yeah, so
I have a feeling that this EP came out, and I mean, obviously Drew is he's an incredible writer, so I'm assuming that he's got a lot of stuff that he's already wrote that he's saving for what's next. And there's a good chance that While You're Gone is going to take off on Sirius, and we're going to revisit this EP and whatever Drew puts out next as kind of his first big collection of what's to come for him, because I think there's definitely more to come from Drew for sure.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's put out great songs even before this EP. It's just that he's not really that well known and wasn't at that point because he's still up and coming. I mean, You've got songs like California Ain't For Ya, Daddy Did, songs like that are just great, well written, well played songs that just
Absolutely.
haven't really made it out into the world yet. And I'm like, kind of like when Luke was up and coming with songs like Can I Get an Outlaw, She Got the Best of Me, I Know She Ain't Ready, like all those
Yep.
deep cut hidden
Moonshine.
gems.
Yep.
Yeah, Moonshine. How could I forget that? Just these deep cut songs that they put out, and I think that as he blows up, those will come to surface even more. So
Yep, I agree. So I guess it's time to jump into the big one. What do you think?
yeah, let's jump into the big one.
Yeah.
Luke Combs' deluxe album. What you see ain't always what you get.
That's right, man. Yeah, it's stayed up till midnight on Thursdays to just to hear him. I mean,
Yeah, we both did, man. And I was having trouble getting them on Spotify, and I think I texted you. I'm like, I can't get them. And you're like, go to YouTube. So I jumped over on YouTube, and they were right there for me to listen to. But
yeah,
you've got 5 tracks that dropped with this deluxe album. Cold as You, The Other Guy, My Kind of Folk, Without You, which was actually released a little bit ago. So Without You's kind of been out for a little bit. And the smash hit Forever After All.
yep.
So,
Yeah, he kind of. I mean, this is Luke is kind of following in the same formula that he did for the debut album. I mean, he released a deluxe for the debut that had 5 songs on it, just to kind of give the fans just a little taste of what was next. So I mean, he released 17 songs on this album, and then he gave us 6 Feet Apart at about 5 or 6 months ago. Now he's releasing 5 more, and I think that we can both say that he gave us a little bit of everything that makes Luke Luke on these 5 tracks. What do you think of him there, Joey?
Yeah, I agree, man. I think this may have been like, I don't want to call it an EP, but like between all his EPs and like deluxe albums, I think this is probably the most solid 5 tracks he's put out in this type of format. I know that might be going on a limb, and some people might not agree with me, but I think these are 5 really good songs, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, let's just run through them here. So I mean, the first track is "Cold as You." What do you think on that one?
Love it. Good storytelling song about a guy who's heartbroken over a girl that he wishes his beer is cold as you or whatever, and I love it. I think it's awesome. Kind of punch you in the face type song. Delivery wise, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he wrote it with Randy Montana and Jonathan Singleton. So these are the dudes that he wrote "Beer Never Broke My Heart" with. So it's definitely got that, just like you said, just hits you right in the face, and it lets Luke do what Luke does vocally. So it's really coming at you. He debuted this one on the Opry with Craig Morgan with a little snippet, and then he did the acoustic video of it. So we knew this one coming into the deluxe, and I definitely does not disappoint. It's right exactly, I think, what I would have expected it to be.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you mentioned, he played it earlier at the Opry, and he teased it with his little social media things that he does that I hate so much, but I appreciate still as a fan.
That's right.
Because he wants his people to like what he's going to put out. So I get the marketing scheme behind all that. I wouldn't call it a scheme, but I get the marketing mindset behind all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. I love it. Then you move forward to The Other Guy, and what were your thoughts on The Other Guy?
Well, I mean, as we talked last week or the week before, it's a song that him and Rowdy had wrote, couple 3 years ago, I think, that Job Fortner had recorded, and then he'd kind of just disappeared for a while. And I think most people thought that we probably wouldn't hear from it again. I'm not going to say it's my favorite track from the album, but it might be the one that I'm looking forward to live the most. I think the chorus on it, Luke had they had this ability to write choruses that are literally built for 15,000 people to sing back to them. And this is a kind of a slower song about a guy that's going through a breakup and trying to pretend like he's okay, but he's not really okay. And it's not a song that you would think you're going to jam out to or sing to. But in my mind, it just I can hear what it's going to sound like when we finally get back to shows.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's definitely going to be one that the crowd catches on to and just delivers right back to him, I think. So I'm
Yeah, I
with
mean,
you.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's the next radio single. I think that after Better Together, they'll veer off into something slightly different. I think the fans are going to expect one thing, but I think Luke is. If I had to predict right now, I would say the other guy will be the next radio single. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. I think that's a fair statement because I think that they're gonna have to step away from the lovey-dovey stuff for a couple tunes and
Yeah.
go to some heartbreak or honky-tonk type sound just to
Yeah.
switch things up at radio. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other guy is great, and we did talk about that a couple weeks ago, and how Joe was supposed to cut it, and then somehow it kind of came to fruition that Luke cut it, which is cool because Luke can sing anything. And it sounds great. I'm just kind of curious what happened there, but either way, it's out in the world. It's a great song. Go check it out. And then you've got My Kind of Folk. That was a good one. I really like that. What do you think about that one, man?
Well, it's probably the one that we knew the least about, and it's got a real. I love the way the music opens on it. I mean, it's kind of he's got other songs similar to this. I mean, it's about the way of life and what people do, where Luke comes from, and it's kind of just a general song that everybody can relate to. But that's kind of what Luke does is he writes these songs that literally everybody can relate to. So I mean, it's one that it's probably if I was ranking them, it'd probably be lower on the list, but it's still an amazing song.
Yeah, kind of like your blue collar living. I think he says something like what doesn't matter what you do, but we always do it good, or something like that. Talking about their
Yep.
careers and letting loose on the weekend, on Friday and Saturday, going to church on Sunday, then clocking back in on Monday morning on time. So it'll be a good one live. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It may be probably, I hate to say it's probably my least favorite from the releases though, but it's still a good song. It's not bad. I don't think you can put out a bad song. But
We're seeing eye to eye on these songs here, Joey. I think.
yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too. And then you've got Without You, which is kind of like his anthem on this album to thank his parents, thank his fans, thank his or his wife now. Excuse me. Let me step back there. They're now married.
Give Nicole a shout out there.
Yeah, Nicole Combs, almost,
That's right.
or Nico Hawking on Twitter, whatever you want to call her. But yeah, shout out to her.
That's right.
But yeah, that's kind of like his anthem to thank them because he couldn't be who he is without them. And that track just hit me so hard when I saw it teased like a year ago. It was about a year ago, I think.
Yep,
And,
last fall.
Yeah, last fall, and that verse about worked overtime to buy the tickets, the gas, the beer, the babysitters, paid $20 for a place to park. Got in line early to grab your spot. I mean, that just is so relatable to anybody that's probably been to a Luke show. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because or a live show, period. Because you may not have necessarily had to work overtime to get the tickets, but you're like, damn, I got to pay $20 to park. Shoot, we got to get in line, 2 to 4, 6 hours early so we can get in the front of the pit, and it's just really cool. I like how he wrote that song, and yeah, I love it. And then
I mean, he wrote it with Wyatt Durrett, who is kind of known for most of the Zac Brown singles, but him and Luke have really got an interesting partnership here. He wrote Even Though I'm Leaving with him and Ray, and then he wrote Beautiful Crazy with Rowdy, and so they're great story songs and very descriptive. And Without You is a very, very descriptive song about what matters to Luke and Luke. He's kind of mentioned it's kind of a sequel to This One's for You. And it's just long term it's probably going to be my favorite one from the record because it's just there's not a lot of people that put out songs like this, and Luke does it about as everybody talks about how humble Luke is and how he acts humble, but then you hear a song like this and it makes you realize exactly how appreciative he is of where he is and what he has.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And then wrapping up the deluxe, we have Forever After All, which was teased on TikTok, a few weeks ago, a month ago now, probably.
Yeah.
And then,
about a month ago.
So what do you think about Forever After All, man?
Well, I mean, it's the smash. It's
to say the least.
It is beyond a smash. It's definitely going to be the fastest start for any Luke song that he's had. Luke he's kind of to the point in his career now where he's the star in country music. So when there's new music coming out, it's going to get the ultimate attention. And this is the song that's getting the most attention. We're going to be back here next week, probably talking about how high it debuted on the Hot 100, and it's probably going to be the number one hot country song next week. It obviously won't be the number one song on radio because it's not the radio single, but it is flying. I mean, the amount of streams and the amount of sales for this song already are incredible.
Oh yeah,
and it's a great song. But
absolutely, it's sitting at number one all genre on iTunes right now, isn't it?
Yeah, number one on iTunes since it came out Thursday night. Above some huge pop music heavy hitters, and it is not, it is not common for country stars to have, to be above to be above the the Ariana Grandes and the Justin Biebers and the
Taylor Swift.
It's usually for a country artist to have a hit that big, they have a pop collaborator with them, and that's completely cool. But for Luke to be having this kind of success for a love country song by himself is pretty incredible.
Absolutely, and I think it just kind of goes back to the not only the talent and the songwriting, but the fact that he teases things and kind of sees how people react to him and puts them out on social media and kind of gets that hype built up around the song before he actually drops it. So people are anticipating that drop. And
well, he teased. I think he probably learned from this one, like, don't give the whole song away, because he teased the very end of this song, but he didn't. He didn't tease the whole song. So maybe that'll be the new trend going forward.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I thought that it threw me off, because when I actually listened to it, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know this was going to be in here. The first two choruses before the last chorus or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that song. It's super relatable to me, just kind of, being married, being in love with my wife, blah, blah, blah. And I think a lot of people feel that way, and I'm usually not one for the lovey-dovey tracks, you know what I mean, from any artist, not Luke, but those just usually aren't my go-to. But I've listened to this dang song so many times over the past few days. I'm like, it's so good.
Well, yeah, I mean, he wrote it with Rowdy and he wrote it with Drew.
Yeah.
So that's always gonna. I think looking back on Luke's career and looking forward to Luke's career, when Luke writes songs with the guys that he's been writing with since the very beginning, there's always something a little extra special about those songs. And this is also the fastest, most upbeat of his love songs, which it's a little bit easier to listen to than some of the other love songs, and it's just going to be the streams are going to be insane on it.
Yeah, yep, absolutely, and kind of goes back to what I was saying a little bit ago, that magic fairy dust that those guys have when they get together and just write, because they have a chemistry and they vibe so well and they know each other, and they're a real tight knit group of guys, and they can definitely write a song, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Drew or Rowdy, maybe both of them, put a picture up of the lyric sheet when they wrote the song, and it was they wrote this song last January.
Yeah.
So it's like a year and a half old that they've just been sitting on, and that they knew this was probably a smash the day they wrote it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
just cooking it up.
Wonder what else they're holding on to
I couldn't
we
imagine.
don't know yet.
Especially with the coronavirus stay-at-home crap. I couldn't imagine what the amount of songs they've written this year that they're just like banking for a later date.
Absolutely.
But, speaking of just Luke and everything, that live stream that he did on social media the other night was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I
think he gets. I think there's so many people that are trying to watch those live streams that the connection gets messed up sometimes. It was cutting in and out a little bit.
Yeah, you can tell when there's like a spike in viewers that it starts cutting out, and they were having some storms too, because you heard Rowdy say he got struck by lightning or whatever.
That's funny.
I was like, whatever, man. But we talked about this earlier this weekend, but what I thought was cool is that Luke kind of thanked his fans for like streaming the music, buying the music and everything throughout this year, because by doing so he's been able to pay his band, and I thought that was really cool. And
it was really cool.
Yeah, he was just appreciative of the fans, and kind of thanked the fans on behalf of the band, and they I just thought that was really cool. And
He's probably paying the band on the money he makes from selling these Crocs.
Yeah,
Because he just announced this new one that's getting ready to come out, and it's going to sell out immediately too. It's fun.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of that skull design on his merch. I don't know why. I've just never been a big fan of it. But
Yeah.
for whatever reason, out of all the Crocs that he's dropped, I probably like those the best.
Yeah, I do.
Believe it or not, and they got the fuzzy insides, like to keep your feet warm and
I
stuff.
know.
But
I want them now.
yeah, I actually was thinking about ordering a pair, but they never have my size really because I got a big old foot. I wear a 14 in men's, so it's like
that's funny.
the biggest they go is a 13, and I ordered the sandal version, like the slides, the most recent release before this one, and they didn't fit, so I just sold them to another bootlegger for what I paid. But
That's
you know, but anyways,
all right, man.
Let's get into the meat of this one. Yeah,
let's get into it, man.
Yeah, news out.
How are we going to run through this?
Well, what we'll do, we're going to go through the CMA Award nominees, and we're just going to predict each of us, you and I, and who we think is going to take the category. So I can start, and then I'll start with the first category we're going to cover, which is group, and then you can take it from there, and we'll just alternate.
Yeah, let's just run through who the nominees are for each one, and then we'll each kind of give our opinion there.
Yep, sounds good. And guys, the 54th CMA Awards actually are going to air on November 11th on ABC at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to make sure to mark your calendars for that.
That's right.
But the first category we're going to discuss is Group of the Year. So you've got Lady A, Little Big Town, Midland, Old Dominion, and Rascal Flatts. They're nominated. I will go ahead and predict... this one was hard for me.
And it is, because there's a bunch of them that are kind of equal in this one. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going to go out and say Old Dominion.
Okay.
I know it's kind of bold.
That's who I picked too. I was either leaning on Lady A or Old Dominion, because Lady A had a little bit of a comeback this year. They had a number one earlier in the year, and they've got a song climbing the charts right now. But I will go with Old Dominion just because of One Man Band, which was just a huge smash earlier this year. So I'll probably I think we're
on the
same page,
same
there,
mindset
man.
there. Yep.
Okay.
So what's our next category we got to predict, Chris?
Oh man, next one is Duo of the Year. So we got the legends Brooks and Dunn coming back into the fold. We got Brothers Osborne. We got Dan and Shay. We got Florida Georgia Line FGL, and we have Maddie and Tay. That's a tough category right there.
That's a strong lineup.
That is a strong
nominees.
lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to take it?
Oh well, I'm guessing Dan and Shay will win, but I don't know. But I'm guessing Dan and Shay will win.
I don't know how it couldn't be Dan and Shay at this point. I'm no disrespect to Dan and Shay. They're very talented guys, but they're not necessarily my cup of tea. They're not something that I'd turn on and listen to. They're very successful. They've got a huge fan base. The instruments on their songs are great. Their voices are powerful. And,
Dan's voice is amazing. It's just, like you said, it's probably not our cup of tea, but for what they do, they do it about as well as anybody does it.
Oh my gosh, it's insane how popular they are and how many streams they get. And kind of what you said earlier kind of probably goes back to that cross collaborations, because they've had Justin Bieber on a song, and that was huge for them. But so I don't know how they don't win that category, unfortunately. I'd like to see Brooks and Dunn take it.
I agree. Yeah.
And no disrespect to Dan and Shay, it's just that I'd be cool to see the old timers take an award, so to speak. But
and I think that if we had gotten a normal year, Brooks and Dunn was going to have their reunion tour, which was sell out immediately, and it was going to be a huge tour. And if Luke had released One Too Many as a single, it would have helped Brooks and Dunn a little bit. Brooks and Dunn are Brooks and Dunn, but it's
legends.
I'm just guessing that it's Dan and Shay's year.
Makes sense. Yep, I agree with you. But
all right, man. What we got next?
Rolling into the next category, we've got new artist. We've got Jimmy Allen, Ingrid Andress, Gabby Barrett, Carly Pierce, and Mr. Morgan Wallen.
Man,
I'm going to go out and say Morgan Wallen because I think he's one of the hottest things in country music right now.
Yep.
And he's had nothing but success lately. I don't see how he doesn't win this category. Not that the other artists haven't been amazing and put out great tracks, but just with how much he has blown up in the past year or so. I don't see how he doesn't win that one.
Yeah, I mean, if it's based on the career trajectory of the of the nominees, Morgan's got it for sure. I mean, the other nominees, Gabby Barrett had a ginormous hit with "I Hope," and she coming off
Straight
American
from
Idol.
American
and,
Idol, yeah.
Yeah, and Carly Pierce has had, "I Hope You're Happy Now," which is we're going
Great
to
song.
talk about it here in just a little bit, and Jimmy Allen's had a couple big hits, but it's got to be Morgan Wallen. I mean, the CMAs usually. You usually only get one, maybe two chances to win New Artist of the Year, and they like if you don't win, to win the Triple Crown, you have to win New Artist, either male or female, and then Entertainer as a in your career. And so if you don't win New Artist, you can't win it. So they almost always give it to the biggest act. So if they give it to the biggest act, it's Morgan. It's got to be Morgan.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree with you, man. I think we're what 3 for 3 in agreement so far.
Yeah, I think it's going to get a little. These next couple are going to be interesting.
A little more diverse.
Yeah.
Speaking of, what do we got next?
Yep, Song of the Year. So they do Song of the Year and Single of the Year. There's some different verbiage on what the difference is, but to me, Song of the Year has always been what is the best song. What's the best written song? What's the best song that connects to people? What's the best song that's going to last? And then single, it's traditionally been what was the biggest song of the year? What was the biggest hit? What was the biggest radio single? So, I mean, a lot of people think, and the song of the year goes to the songwriters, not to the artist. So that's the other big difference there. So, song of the year is Bluebird, which was put out by Miranda Lambert and written by Luke Dick, Natalie Hemby, and Miranda Lambert. You've got The Bones, which was released by Maren Morris, which was written by Maren and Jimmy Robbins and Laura Veltz. Then you've got Even Though I'm Leaving, sung by Luke Combs, written by Luke, Wyatt Durrett, and Ray Fulcher. Then you have I Hope You're Happy Now, which was a duet between Lee Brice and Carly Pierce that actually was written by Luke Combs, Carly Pierce, Randy Montana, and Jonathan Singleton. And then the last nominee is More Hearts Than Mine, which was performed by Ingrid Andress, and she wrote it with Sam Ellis and Derek Sutherland. These are all good songs, man.
Gosh, that lineup for I Hope You're Happy Now. Randy Montana, Luke Combs, Carly Pierce, Jonathan Singleton.
Yeah.
Gosh, some tough, talented writers.
Yep.
This is a tough category, man. Who you think's going to take it?
Oh, well, I think that... Oh, man.
It's tough.
I want Even Though I'm Leaving to win, but I think that Bluebird is going to win. If I had to guess, it's either going to... Well, I think Bluebird will win. Miranda, she always writes these songs throughout the years of her career that, have always just kind of been singer-songwriter, very lyrically driven, and the award shows have always loved her. So I'm guessing Bluebird. What about you?
Those are all good songs, man. Just to keep it different, I'm gonna go with Even Though I'm Leaving, just because that was such a well-written song.
It was, yeah.
And I mean, like I mentioned, the writers that are on that are just freaking... Well, actually, I was talking about I Hope You're Happy Now, but Luke Combs, Wyatt Durrett, and Ray Fulcher, also, who wrote Even Though I'm Leaving, and they're also great writers, and I think they're very well deserving.
I mean, on these categories, there's usually like a front runner, but I mean, I could see The Bones winning because The Bones was huge for me.
I Hope You're Happy Now was great too. That one did good radio also. I mean,
it wouldn't surprise me if any of those won.
Yeah. I wasn't shocked when I was looking over the nominees and saw this list. I'm like, okay, well, that makes it hard for me to kind of predict who I think is going to win, but I'll go with Even Though I'm Leaving just because I'm a Luke fanboy.
I know. I'm secretly hoping it's going to win, but I just think that Miranda's going to take this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I totally agree with what you said. I think that she'll probably take it, but I'm going to say Luke. But it would be cool either way.
What we got for Single of the Year there, Joey?
Yeah, next category, we've got Single of the Year. The singles that were nominated, 10,000 Hours by Dan and Shay, Beer Never Broke My Heart by Luke Combs, Bluebird by Miranda Lambert, The Bones by Maren Morris, and I Hope by Gabby Barrett.
Oh, man.
Good.
That's five huge smashes.
Huge smashes.
Yep. And there's three songs by females, which is that's
That's
awesome. Yeah, it's
That's
really
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Marin, Miranda, and Gabby. They're all three very talented women. I hate to say it, but my prediction, I'm gonna get 10,000 Hours by Dan and Shay.
I agree.
I
I
don't
agree.
necessarily love it. I think it's more a pop song, but I don't get to decide that. So
Yeah, I mean
it's a good
you know,
song. I mean,
it's
it's
a good
definitely
song.
very
And
catchy.
when you have Justin Bieber on the song with you, the streams are going to. I mean, it's got almost
Astronomical.
500 million streams on Spotify alone, just on Spotify.
That's
I mean,
nuts.
that's yeah, it's
And
totally
Justin
nuts.
Bieber is a icon. Justin
Yeah.
Bieber's amazing, and I like Bieber. I like a lot of his music.
Yeah.
He's super talented. He's got an amazing voice. He dances. He does the whole thing. Great performer. I just don't know. I don't know. I think it'll take single of the year, unfortunately.
I think it will too. Dark horse for me is I Hope by Gabby Barrett, just because
That'd be cool.
she's coming off American Idol. It took this song a while to take off, but once it took off, I mean, it's still in the top 30 on the
Yeah.
Billboard Hot 100 because it's just it's she's gotten a lot of crossover play with it, but it's been it's probably I think it's the biggest debut single from a female since Carrie, which would have been
crazy.
like 05, 06. So
Insane.
yeah, just to be nominated, obviously just to be nominated is awesome, but
Yeah, it's an honor, I'm sure, for those folks that are nominated.
But I think Dan and Shay's got it.
If now, I will say, if Bluebird doesn't take Song of the Year, I could almost see that be a dark horse. Just
I mean,
because
they love Miranda. I mean,
they do. But I'm gonna stick with 10,000 Hours by Dan and Shay. I think they're gonna take duo, and I think they're gonna take single.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be a big night for them.
Yes, sir.
I think
What's up next?
they're performing with Bieber too, so that's all.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That'll be a big moment for them too.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big night for them. Which I'm happy for them. I'm excited. They're very, like I said, they're very successful at what they do, and they are entertaining. I mean, they sound great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I think what we got next, album of the year.
yeah, album of the year.
So to me, this is the best category. Like this is, you look at these 5 nominees, and this is stacked. I mean, you have Heartache Medication by John Party, which it's an awesome album. He actually just put out an extended deluxe version too a couple weeks ago that had a couple extra tracks on it. Then you have Never Will by Ashley McBryde. That's her second album that came out
Smashing
earlier this year.
album too.
Yeah, it's great. Old Dominion by Old Dominion. What You See Is What You Get by Luke Combs, which everybody knows what we think of that one probably. And then Wild Card by Miranda Lambert. So
All so good.
yeah, I don't. This was the hardest one for me to pick.
Me too.
What do you think?
I'm gonna go Heartache Medication by John Party.
Oh man,
I think that's
look,
one of the
I
best
love
modern
Luke more than
albums
anything,
right now.
but I want Party to win this because Luke won it last couple months ago at the ACMs.
Yeah.
So he's already got album of the year from the ACMs, and Party doesn't get nominated for a ton of
anything,
stuff.
really.
And this is it's an awesome album. It really is an awesome album.
Yeah, do yourself a favor if you haven't listened to Heartache Medication by John Party and go start playing that right now. I was like,
Yeah,
turn this
absolutely.
episode off and just go listen to that album and come back to us later because that
Yeah,
is a
it
freaking
is absolutely a jam.
one of the best traditional sounding records for modern country. I mean, it's great. We've talked about that a little bit before on the show, but I'm going Heartache Medication, John Party.
I'm gonna. Well, I mean, I want that to win, but if I had to guess, I'm gonna pick Wild Card by Miranda. I think she's won Album of the Year 3 times in the past. So
Could be a big night for her too.
it could be, yeah. I mean, so far, I think Dan and Shay and Miranda have the best chance to have a big night.
Yeah, yep, for sure. So we'll see. It's gonna be exciting. But
Yeah.
next, we've got Female Vocalist of the Year, and that again nominated Miranda Lambert, Ashley McBryde, Maren Morris, Casey Musgraves, and Carrie Underwood.
That's an awesome list, and Gabby Barrett's not included. Carly Pierce isn't included. It was a huge snub for Kelsey Ballerini to not be included.
I agree.
As bad as it is for country music with females, sometimes they've had a hard time coming up with 5 nominees.
Yeah.
And there were legitimately 8 or 9 people that deserved to be nominated this year.
There's a lot of good women in country music right now,
Yeah.
and they some get some radio play and some don't get as much. But I mean, they're slept on a lot. You know,
Lauren Elena. I mean, she keeps having these duet smash hits.
Absolutely.
With people. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think on that one?
Personally, this one was tough for me. I still don't think I have a true prediction. I would love to see somebody like Ashley McBride take this. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm gonna go Carrie. I don't know. I'm just throwing a name, man. At this point, I'm gonna go Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, you can't ever go wrong with Carrie. I mean, you and
It's a safety net
you and I both
prediction.
love Ashley, so
Oh, yeah.
we would love for Ashley to win. But I'm guessing, just her getting nominated is a win for her.
Yeah.
Because this is her first nomination for Female Vocalist of the Year. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Marin.
Marin, I could see that.
Just because Miranda and Carrie have won it so many times that
Right.
I think they're going to mix it up a little bit and go Marin. But any of them
They're all
are
great.
deserving. Yeah, they're all great.
Yeah, they're all great. But what do we got next, my man?
Here we go. Male Vocalist of the Year. Eric Church, the man, the chief. We got Luke Combs. We have Thomas Rhett. We have Chris Stapleton. And we have Keith Urban.
Ooh. Solid choices and very hard to predict. What's your prediction, man?
Well, Stapleton didn't. He only put out he just put out a song a couple weeks or about a month ago.
Yeah.
And his album doesn't come out for a couple weeks. So I can't imagine that based on the last year. I mean, Stapleton's won this thing 3 or 4 times, but I'm guessing that he's probably not going to win it this year. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll come down between Luke and Thomas, but I think Luke's got it. I think he's got it. He won it last year. There's no argument on who the biggest star is and who has the best vocals. And I mean, to me, it's Luke or it's a shock.
Yep, I had Luke too, and I mean, all these guys are so good, and I agree with what you said about Stapleton. He really hasn't done much or put much music out in the past year to really put him at the front of this award, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, next year, after this album comes out, he's going to be right there.
It's going to be a monster album for him. I'm sure he always does so well with album sales and everything. So, I'm going Luke. I think Luke's going to take it.
Yeah, I agree.
But to wrap it up with the categories,
the big one,
the holy grail of awards, if you're nominated for a CMA award, is Entertainer of the Year.
It is.
And the nominees are the man, Eric Church, the other man, Luke Combs, Miranda Lambert, Carrie Underwood, and Keith Urban. Now,
that is a tough list right there, man. And there's, we could probably come up with 5 other people that deserve to be nominated for that award,
Yeah, I mean, and all these folks deserve it right in their own regard, but... And it's crazy because no one's really got to perform much this year, and I mean, you know how I feel about 2019 CMA Award Entertainer of the Year.
Well, let's go in.
Let's predict.
Let's just go into what happened last year. So I mean, last year, everybody on that was following the awards thought that it was going to be between Eric and Carrie, because Eric and Carrie have huge, very devoted fan bases. Eric has never won Entertainer of the Year, and is just an absolute beast live. Carrie's probably got the most powerful, best vocals of anybody that we've ever heard live, and everybody just assumed that it was one of them. And somehow, some way, Garth snuck in and won it last year.
That was, and I love Garth Brooks. I grew up listening to Garth Brooks. I was just listening to Garth Brooks last night, but it was not his year. It was absolutely not.
No way.
And not even the energy that Eric brings or the vocal, the vocal power that Carrie has live. Eric frickin' Church, for lack of a better term, did his Double Down tour where he's playing by himself, no opening acts, 3.5 to 4 hours a night, 2 nights in each city.
Yeah.
Broke Taylor Swift's record at Nissan Stadium for attendance by himself, and played for over 4 hours that night. I was there in the freaking nosebleeds, but that was probably the best show I've ever been to in my entire life.
Yep.
And I mean, I saw Carrie and Eric that year. I was fortunate enough to see both of them. And don't get me wrong, Carrie put on a great show. It's very animated. They've got all the screens and the special effects, and she's all over the stage. She's moving, playing guitar at some points, and I don't even know if she was really playing the guitar. Didn't really look like it, but we won't get into that. But I mean, they were both just so great live, and I think Garth only did what, like 3 to 5 stadium shows or something. Yeah. I may be wrong there, but
yeah, and we're not trashing Garth. We love Garth. We love Garth, but Garth, this for Entertainer of the Year, at least for me, it is who is the flag bearer for live music, released music, and representing country music for that year, not for career. I mean,
if it's for
the
career,
Garth would win every year. I mean,
every year.
Yeah, but for last year or for this year, it just should not have been Garth.
No, and respect.
And he's not nominated this year because he actually he attempted to pull himself out of contention because it got so ugly last year on social media for him.
It did. Eric fans were pissed. Carrie fans were pissed too. I mean, even when Eric was doing a live show, he snuck some diss words in. I know Garth didn't do it this way or whatever.
Yeah,
I forget exactly how that went, but that was kind of funny. But he had some fun with it, and Garth said he didn't take no offense to it, that he would have done. He said something like, I read an interview where he said he would have done the same thing to get that feedback from his fans at a live show. So Garth's a great guy, he is, and he's very respectful.
Yeah, and it's not his fault that he won. I mean,
no, there's nothing against him personally whatsoever. I mean, he's a hell of an entertainer. Garth is. I've seen Garth 3 times, and if he's ever within a 6 to 8 hour radius of me that I can drive to, I'm going. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wouldn't miss a Garth show, but just that year, it just wasn't his year in my opinion. But I don't make those decisions, unfortunately, or Eric Church would have finally got the award.
Yeah, and I know last year you were fired up.
Oh, I said I was never going to watch another award show. I was on Facebook, Twitter, complaining about it, but
you were.
That didn't hold true.
That's why people love Eric, is that kind of passion. Right.
Yeah, and he gives it to us, and we give it back, and I just never seen a tour like the Double Down tour. I saw 3 shows, well, 2 Double Down, then I saw the co-headlining show with Luke in Atlanta that we went to. But I mean, I saw Eric 3 times that year, and I'm just like,
Eric's one of those people though that if you haven't experienced that live show, you're not going to understand it, and you're not going to vote for him because he's not the guy that has 3 or 4 radio #1s in a year, or he's not the guy that just does exactly what Nashville wants somebody to do. His career is based on that live show.
I agree, and he just like ropes the whole crowd, and he's all over. He's walking through the pit, signing records for people, pouring up shots of Jack Daniels for people. People are sneaking in little mini shots of Jack, and he's taking them as a gift from his fans. And I mean, it's just so entertaining. And he's telling stories sometimes in between songs, but not much. And he's fired up, like jumped around the stage. I mean, I saw a video where he slipped and fell and kept playing the guitar on the ground and got back up and kept singing. I mean, it's just like entertaining.
And he's also probably got the best background vocalist in the world.
Oh yeah,
with him, and maybe the best band in the world. So you got, I mean, you're not
Driver
just getting
Williams.
Eric, you are getting the whole shebang.
Joanna Cotton and the backup vocals. Oh my God, and their energy is unmatched together. Like it's crazy. They feed off each other.
If you get anything out of this show, it's when this stuff is over with, go see Eric Church.
Yeah, even if you're just a like mediocre fan of like his radio hits, you'll fall in love. But that's 2019. We're talking 2020 tonight.
So what do you? I mean, what will they even base this on? Because like you said, there hasn't been much this year.
That's what I was thinking. And if we're going off of when we did have a full year of live music, I'm thinking it's going to be between Eric and Carrie, just because of how successful their tours were in 2019.
Yeah, and probably because of the backlash from last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's still a little bit of that carrying over, obviously.
Which at the ACMs, I thought it was crazy because Carrie won, but she tied with Thomas Rhett.
Yeah, who's not nominated here.
I'm like, what the heck is this, Thomas Rhett? Like, he's great. I love Thomas Rhett, but I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, where'd that come? Who voted for this? I'm like, what is going on? But Congrats to Thomas and Carey on the ACM though. That's great for them. But I was so
Absolutely.
thrown. I think the world was thrown off by that. I'm like, how do you have a tie for Entertainer of the Year? Like, pick one or the other. It doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't care who you
only
pick.
time it's
Just
ever
pick
happened.
one.
It's funny.
But yeah,
man, we've talked about it. What do you think? What's the prediction?
As much as I would love for Eric to get this, because I think he is so overdue and so deserving for this award, I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm going to go Carey.
Yeah.
Carey's going to take it.
If you look at Eric has never won Entertainer of the Year. He's never won Male Vocalist. He won Album of the Year twice for Mr. Misunderstood and Chief. And I think he won Best Collaboration with Keith Urban for Raise 'Em Up.
Yeah.
So he has won some CMA Awards, but he's never won Male Vocalist or Entertainer of the Year. But I just think that there's enough people in Nashville that know that Eric Church needs to have an Entertainer of the Year. So
You're going Eric?
it's going to, Luke could just sweep all these. I mean, if you're basing this just solely on who deserves it, Luke has given the fans the most in 2020. He's done the most lives. He's been out and about.
Yeah.
But Luke's also really early in his career, and this is probably Eric's best chance. And I think there's enough people that know that he deserves it, and I'm gonna say he sneaks it out.
I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. Trust me. And like I said, Carey and Eric both are so very well deserving. Everybody that's nominated is deserving. You don't get nominated for Entertainer of the Year if you're not deserving. I mean, that's a very prestigious award. But
yeah, I mean, if you look at the history of the Entertainer of the Year, there is not one person that's ever won Entertainer of the Year that's not going to end up in the Country Music Hall of Fame. So you win this award, and you are a country music immortal. That you're going to end up right with the greats. I mean,
yeah. But yeah, I think I'm going Carey. I hope you're right, and no disrespect, Miss Underwood, but I hope you're right with Eric, man. I would be so happy as a fan of his. I love Eric, so.
I know.
But yeah, I think that's our last category. We just did the major categories, guys. There's a few other categories that you can check out during or after the show when it airs. But that is going to wrap up our predictions.
Yep.
You got anything else for tonight's show, my man?
Well, I just wanted to give a shout out. The CMA announced October 22nd, so a couple of days ago, that Charlie Pride would be receiving the 2020 Willie Nelson Lifetime Achievement Award. Charlie Pride, until Darius Rucker came along, was pretty much the only superstar African American country music artist, and he was, recording in the 60s and 70s. I cannot imagine how tough that was, and he absolutely killed it in in the 60s, 70s, early 80s. I mean, he had 30 number ones. He's still performing today. He's 86 years old. I mean, it's member of the Grand Ole Opry, member of the Country Music Hall of Fame. Just an absolute legend. And there's a lot of people, our age and younger, that don't know who Charlie Pride is. They might know Kiss an Angel, Good Morning.
Yeah.
They don't know much else about him. But
Right.
it's I'm shocked that he hadn't already won the Lifetime Achievement Award. But it's pretty cool that they're gonna give it to him this year.
That's awesome. So well deserving.
Well, Luke Bryan, Jason Aldean, and Blake Shelton are not nominated for anything.
Anything? Yeah, I saw that, man.
That's crazy.
That's probably the first time in most recent history, right? That neither of those three are nominated for anything.
Yeah, they're not nominated for anything. I don't think Kenny Chesney's nominated for anything either.
No, not that I saw.
Yeah, so those are those
names.
are huge names to not get, but that just shows you how deep country music is, and it shows you
it's shifting a little bit.
Yeah, that it's hard to get. When you got these new up and comers coming, it's not as easy as it once was for some of these people.
No, I didn't even think about that, man. While I was going through the list, that's crazy.
Yeah,
and those are guys I love, and I know you're fans of them.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, Aldean had the number one song in America last week. Blake's got a huge back-to-back smashes with Gwen right now, and
Luke cut his album this year and dropped it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like those
album.
guys aren't still super active, but just other names got the call this year.
Very interesting. We'll see. Gosh, that's crazy. I can't
It is
believe
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, man, the shift of country music, man, the new up and coming guys and gals are talented.
Absolutely.
Got to compete with them,
Yeah, and I mean, which day did you The awards are
November 11th.
November 11th. So I'm sure that we'll be back, the day after or that weekend, and kind of give a recap of how bad we did on these predictions.
Hey, you never know. One of us might be right. We were
You
pretty
never, you
similar
never
with most of
know.
our choices, but
Yeah.
we'll see how we did. We'll definitely do a reacting episode after the award show with that week
Yep.
or so, and drop it for you guys to check out. So
Yep.
is that it, man? I don't have anything else on this one. You got
No,
anything
man.
else?
I think we we covered it deep this week.
We did. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. As always, we truly appreciate that. If you haven't yet, go check us out on social media. We're on Facebook. Just search Bro Country Podcast. We have a business page and a private Facebook group. And we're also on Instagram at Bro Country Podcast. We're on Twitter at Bro Country Pod. Go check us out. Please like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. We truly appreciate it. And until next time, keep it country and take care of each other.